Bad news from Janet Yellen. Social Security and Medicare are now underfunded by $175 trillion. That's with a T. That comes to roughly $1.4 million per household. It's worth noting the median household net worth in the United States is roughly 1/7 of that. The numbers come from the latest financial report of the United States government, a 254-page report laying out all the gory details. One chart is particularly eye-catching, laying out the scale. So you've got the actual deficit, which is now bouncing along at $2 trillion, then the national debt at a grotesque $35 trillion, and then the real fun starts. So underfunded obligations on Social Security and Medicare that collectively add up to another $175 trillion. So what happened? Simple. Politicians stole every penny that went into Social Security and Medicare, replacing them with IOUs, government bonds, like Indiana Jones, plopping a bag of sand on the altar. So it turns out that was a large amount to steal. Social Security and Medicare together account for over a third of what the federal government collects in the form of a 15.3% payroll tax. Your company actually pays half of that, so you pay twice what you think you do. Now, both programs are incredibly wasteful, as you would expect from a government program, and they pay out billions in fraudulent claims every year, including to people who live overseas. But the real problem is both were intentionally set up as Ponzi schemes. That is, they took in a lot of money early, when there were lots of people paying and few elderly. They pretended to set all that money aside, but they actually spent it, replacing it with that bag of sand. Yet even the bag of sand is going now, with both programs expected to run dry in the next 10 years, so 2031 for Medicare and 2033 for Social Security. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. There are only 3 ways to fix this. First is slash the number of people who get benefits. So, for example, raise the retirement age to 70 or beyond. This is obviously very unpopular. Occasionally some naive Republican tries, which is typically the last thing he does before ending his congressional career. Option 2 is raise payroll taxes, which is also unpopular since payroll is a flat tax, meaning voters hate it as much as they would hate all taxes if they too were flat. And that brings us to option 3, cutting benefits. This is the path of least resistance, the do-nothing path, so we can safely assume Congress will follow it. Concretely, that means whatever benefits you are expecting, slash a huge chunk off that. So analysts are already expecting a 23% cut within a decade when those fake trust fund sandbags run dry, and then it keeps going. They will cut off the rich first. Of course, there aren't that many rich, so they'll quickly move on to slashing Social Security checks and Medicare benefits for the middle class. So you'll keep paying every step of the way, but you won't get much back. This will throw millions of Americans back on their own savings, which, of course, are draining even faster than those empty government promises. Okay, we'll be watching.